Dragon's Dogma 2 is fast approaching. With a release date of March 22nd, this new RPG coming to us from Capcom is looking to hit hard and is going to be one of the year's major releases. If you haven't heard of Dragon's Dogma, the game is set in a fantasy world with dragons, monsters, and now, Beastren. Yeah, sure, Capcom. You play as an Arisen, a hero setting out on a journey to learn more about themselves and the world around them, and reclaim their heart from a fire-breathing dragon. The usual stuff. But you won't be going alone, with the game's unique pawn system giving you a few AI companions that will fight alongside you and join you in exploring this vast open world. It's worth mentioning now, if it's on your mind, this is purely a single player game, no co-op lads. So let's break down what we know. The character creator in this game looks insane, allowing you to build your character and ideal pawn. Capcom have used real human face scans to help flesh out the amount of options you will have, which honestly look pretty good at first glance. Now, I'm the type of person to select a face I think is decent, touch a few sliders, and then jump in. No more than 10 minutes. For those looking to build your ideal character, or trying to lovingly recreate something dear to you, this may be quite possible in this builder, with intense fine details like endless muscle styles to build your character how you want. To put this in perspective, there are 12 sliders just for your character's nose. This has never piqued my interest, but I know a lot of people love handcrafting their characters, and this seems like the most robust system I've seen. But Capcom have thought about the lazy among us like me. You'll also have the option to select a face from a number of preset options that best fit what you're looking for. You'll then be presented with more options, similar to what you chose, to get the finer details, before settling on something the game built for you, slowly building towards the broad strokes you chose. When picking your character, we have only 3 confirmed races at the time I'm putting this video together, and this is looking like it'll be it. Humans? I mean, can you have a game without humans? Elves? The classic, not a human, but we had a limited budget in the good old days, so we have some pointy ears. And Beastren, who are your cat-like, animal-human hybrids. Interestingly, the Beastren were originally planned to be in Dragon's Dogma 1, but were removed due to hardware limitations at the time. For your character's body type, there are 2 generic bodies per race, typically male and typically female, which then flow out to another set of body types as you really sculpt your ideal look. The other design you'll have to consider is your pawn. Pawns are the party members you'll have, and they aren't that generic. Pawns are actually called pawns in the world, and NPCs who aren't pawns will know that your pawns are kind of off, or they may love them. Pawns are loyal to their Arisen, and while looking human or like another race, have unique properties to their being. Each player will design their own pawn, give them a vocation, give them traits, and they will then upload them to the Rift, along with every other player's pawn. Players can then go to a Rift Stone and hire those pawns to their own party, meaning you can hire pawns others have created to fill out your party. You will have your designated pawn who will stay with you, and then you'll be selecting 2 others for a party of 4. This is a really interesting and in-depth system, as your pawn will go adventuring with other players, and in your own game, your own pawn will then be able to tell you about locations they found while online with somebody else, pointing you to locations of interest and quests as you move through the world. While looking to hire pawns yourself, you can sort based on whether a pawn knows about the quest you're doing, as well as their vocations. The pawn system is a mechanic unique to Dragon's Dogma. Sure, most games have a follower or a companion, but pawns look to feel more alive. They interact with the world, especially in the sense of what they learn in other players' games, and impart this naturally by offering to guide you physically to these interests. This sounds like some great storytelling, and it will help immerse you in the world. In an interview with IGN, one of the developers discussed that they surveyed player feedback to improve the pawn system. One of the big complaints received is that pawns would repeat the same dialogue ad nauseum. I'm sure we've all experienced this. They paid close attention to making your pawns feel like an ally, like you're playing the game alongside someone, to the point you can customize your pawn's inclination, their attitude or personality, as well as their voice, alongside their looks, and of course, their vocation. So what is a vocation? A vocation is your class and defines your starting playstyle. Initially, you have access to 4 vocations, but this later opens up into advanced vocations and hybrid vocations, and you're able to swap between them as the game progresses. Your pawn will be more limited in their options compared to you, but will be able to swap the vocations as well, but may not have access to all of the advanced and hybrid options. I'll mention now, we may not have all the information on how many vocations there will be in the full release. This is just what's been announced to date. Your starting options are the Fighter. This one kind of goes without explanation. The Fighter is your all-around melee combatant. Wielding a sword and a shield, the Fighter cuts through their enemies, landing strong hits while using their shield to deflect attacks, protecting both themselves and allies from harm. The Archer is a long-range specialist. They use their bow and arrows to strike down enemies and support the front line. The Archer in Dragon's Dogma 1 was part of the Strider vocation, which is no longer present, and has been split into two. The Thief is the second part of what used to be the Strider. The Thief uses deadly speed and rapid successive strikes to bring their foes down with unmatched mobility. Thieves also have the option to, well, engage in thievery and conceal items from NPCs. I'm not 100% sure if this is tied solely to the Thief, or if they only have advantage in this area. If you know the answer, let me know in the comments below. And finally, of the starting vocations, we have the Mage. This is your go-to magic user. The Mage wields powerful magic capable of launching devastating attacks, enchantments that boost your party's effectiveness, and casting of healing spells to keep the team alive. The more powerful your magic, the longer the required incantation or cast time. Mages need to be mindful about their cast times, and to pick their opportunities to ensure maximum damage while limiting their vulnerabilities. As mentioned earlier, more vocations are unlocked as you play. You'll meet NPCs throughout the world who can impart these new vocations on you. Engaging with them and building rapport will give you further specialty options throughout as you progress. Or you may find that they provide special tomes that teach high-level skills. Hybrid vocations are only available to the Arisen, the player character, and is a mix of two vocations into one, like the Trickster, who take inspiration from other vocations but have unique abilities. The Trickster is more of a support vocation, using illusions, party buffs, and debuffs on enemies to turn the tide of battle. The Trickster has the ability to create fake floors, tricking monsters into walking to their doom, or even an illusionary dragon to bring down flying enemies. This is a caster class that is going to be more passive in playstyle, but I'm really interested in trying this one out. A master of the battlefield in crowd control. Next, we have the Mystic Spearhand, which mixes melee and magic together. This vocation will be a great class for versatility in combat. While looking absolutely awesome, this class will definitely pique the interest of those with a spear power fantasy, but don't want to be pigeonholed into purely melee combat. The animations on this class look amazing and allow for a mix of close combat encounters and ranged options when required. We also have the Magic Archer. As the name might give away, this archer uses magic abilities with their special bow to cast powerful attacks on top of healing and supports for your team. This is a great ranged DPS and support class. Now, we also have advanced vocations. These are our final showing for this section. These vocations are often a slight upgrade to their base styles, but can just as easily be considered varying playstyles. We have the Warrior. The Warrior is your beefier melee fighter, with the ability to wield two-handed weapons leading to incredibly high damage attacks and new abilities. These absolute units focus on their physique to deal harsh blows with mighty weapons, but may have fewer defensive options than the fighter counterpart. We have the Sorcerer. Sorcerers generally deal higher damage than the average mage, but with that comes longer cast times or longer incantations. Now, sync casting is an option. If you see a pawn casting the same spell, you can join them to sync cast, and I imagine they can join you. Two characters casting together speeds up the cast time and enhances it, so it may be worth considering who is in your party and how they can benefit you in the future. And finally, we have the Warfarer. This is the last currently known vocation, which is certainly unique and can be seen here utilizing the weapons of the Thief, Warrior, Mage, Spearhand, and more. We haven't had an in-depth look at this class to fully understand it, but it's clear it has access to the widest breadth of skills. According to the Dragon's Dogma 2 website, having additional weapons and skills from other vocations comes with the downside of having reduced stats. What this exactly looks like we don't know yet, but it encourages you to use the best ability and weapon for your given situation, a jack of all trades but master of none. I love the look of this class, and it will definitely suit those who have a good understanding of the strengths and weaknesses of the enemies in the world of Dragon's Dogma. So let's touch on that. Combat with monsters is versatile, and is an ever-changing landscape based on your knowledge of the monster as a player, and your pawns from their own experience in your world and in supporting others. How you tackle challenges will depend on your party setup, your own vocation, and your knowledge of the enemy. For example, Cyclopses are strong, tanky enemies, but their eyes are a weak point. A nimble thief will likely be able to climb up their bodies quickly to get swift strikes in, while an area of effect sorcerer may struggle to do as much quick damage while avoiding the beast. Over time, leveling your vocations will increase your power as you gain access to more skills, and those later advanced or hybrid vocations. As well, you'll also find armor and weapons in the world to suit your character and pawns. Each monster and enemy can be looked at like a puzzle, each with their own weaknesses and strengths for you to take advantage of. Climbing on monsters, for example, will slow them down. While you may be climbing to a weak point, the act of grappling on has impact. Similarly, many monsters can be stunned or put into a prone state, and watching them fall looks awesome. This Cyclops here falls into a tree and gets propped up instead of just falling into a weird prone position on the space. Physics play an important role in the world, but it is still a video game, so it can be a bit janky. I'm very excited for the combat in this game. For me, I find Capcom always capture the feeling of weight in a swing. They don't always capture the hit response so well, It can often feel like you're hitting a HP bar until it goes down, but it fits the aesthetic. Combat versatility seems very broad. Your vocations will all play very differently. The vocations of the pawns you bring will change both how you play and how effective and efficient you are at the same time. The ability to grapple can help you reach weak points, and in some cases may be required to actually reach a point in which you can do damage. Statue of Talus, I'm looking at you. So will you be on the front line, or sneaking around the sidelines waiting for the perfect chance to strike? Now, let's talk about story and questing. I've chosen not to go full in depth on the story here, but we'll touch on some points without spoilers. I'm talking here about broad strokes in the world and how the game delivers narrative, but that's just your short warning. Dragon's Dogma is a tale of the Arisen, whose heart has been taken by the dragon. This sequel mirrors the world setting of the first game, but takes place in a parallel world, as the developers put it. To me, this says we're unlikely to see direct storylines come together, but I'm sure we'll see references, and the parallel worlds also likely explain why pawns can support one another. Within this story, you begin as the Arisen, but not everyone will take that at face value and think you're awesome. Capcom have built a world with political agendas. Nations have their own views and beliefs on the Arisen, on pawns, and on the dragon itself. As you travel through the world, Dragon's Dogma doesn't hold your hand. You will learn about the story through scripted dialogue, but you'll also meet NPCs at random. You could walk into a town and have a guard run up to you seeking help, or run into people on the road, just going about their day. The main story beats will be visible, but often quests will require you to listen and follow the world around you. As mentioned earlier, if your pawns assist another player in their world, they could bring the knowledge of those monsters they fought and quests they completed back to you to give helpful hints and guide you towards these. In terms of questing, a piece of world building I love is that if you don't speak the language, you can't talk to an NPC. So if you're human and you're going to talk to elves and you don't know their language, you won't be able to interact. You need to know the language or have an interpreter. Pawns can assist with this. They automatically translate for you if they know the language, meaning pawn selection is more than just about combat prowess, but also at how useful they will be as you traverse the world. I adore a world that is mysterious and doesn't hold your hand. I'm so keen to explore this world purely for the fact it isn't all laid out before you. The map is this awesome medieval style and continues in that vein as you explore the fog of war. The original Dragon's Dogma made the world feel alive through challenging, dangerous encounters in the wild, contrasting with the safety of towns. As it's an open world, traveling around will require planning. As you progress, you will unlock the ability to fast travel once you've reached key locations, but this comes at a cost. Using magic fairy stones to warp to specific crystals around the world, this won't be a free system allowing you to move at ease. Fairy stones are valuable items, and using them should feel like a conscious choice. Your alternative options are public transport, carts in the world travel from one point to another. You can join, but this form of travel can lead to ambushes. And of course, you can always travel on foot. I love a system like this. Fast travel is great, but it shrinks your world. I love the idea of having a cost to this, meaning it's an option you need to weigh up. Do you sell your food, gear, resources that could be used to afford a fairy stone, or do you travel by foot and risk the dangers of the outside? This world looks absolutely incredible, and I cannot wait to dive into the main story, side missions, and just explore the world in general. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Are you looking forward to Dragon's Dogma 2? What vocation are you most looking forward to playing? As always, if you like this video, please consider letting me know by hitting the button, subscribing if you want more, and joining me in the comments down below. We only have a little over a month to wait until Dragon's Dogma 2 releases. In the meantime, I stream every Tuesday and Thursday here on YouTube and Twitch. Come hang out and chat games. See you in the next one. Cheers.